Welcome back to Build Your Empire Through Real Estate. I am your host, Alexis Halikas, and I have special guest here, team leader out of Lakewood, Ohio, Chris Burns. Welcome.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Alexis.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to kind of just dive right in, as most of our listeners are just here for the value and excited to learn more from you. But first, I'm going to do a better job introducing you than you would yourself, I'm sure. So stay with us, learn a little bit more about Chris, and then we're going to dive into the wonderful world of real estate and building your empire through it. Chris Burns is one of two team leaders of Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan in Cleveland, Ohio, one of the top most profitable Keller Williams market center brokerages in the country. Before stepping into real estate, Chris spent 19 years in the retail tech industry, including 7 years as a director of sales and vice president of sales, where he built and led high-performing teams across the region. After launching his own short-term rental investment in 2021 and earning his real estate license in 2022, Chris quickly became a top-producing realtor. And in January of 2025, he took on the challenging role, essentially, of growing one of the most dynamic brokerages in Northeastern Ohio. A certified John Maxwell success coach since 2020, Chris brings a servant leader mindset to his work, coaching agents one-on-one, developing leaders, and helping professionals identify and close the gaps that hold back their businesses. Away from the office, Chris is a dedicated husband to Rachel and father to their 2 adult children, David and Lilly, and is passionate about helping others grow in both business and life. Chris, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy to be here. That was a great intro.
There we go. I love it. It says who you are and what you do best, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, Chris, tell those that are listening a little bit about, it looks like so far in 2025 through August, you guys are number 4 in most profitable market center brokerages in the country.
Actually, in the world. That was my mistake. Number 4 in the world right now. So yeah, that's something to hang our hats on. Yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the ownership there because that's a pretty significant deal. I mean, there are well over 1,000 Keller Williams brokerages in the world, and you guys are number 4 most profitable. So tell me, I think most people at this point are going, wait a second, hold up. Tell me one success that you had in this role or one thing around that success that you do with consistency to get that kind of level of results in terms of profitability. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, sure. So really 2 things. I think that, my role, the 2 things that like really just get me out of bed in the morning is number 1, developing agents, utilizing the Keller Williams models and systems that I've grown to absolutely love and teach at the brokerage, and then introducing the number 4 most profitable market center in the world to other agents and real estate students. What I attribute to that is nothing fancy or flashy. It's literally just pipeline consistency. Just like it takes a great healthy pipeline to be a great real estate agent, keep your pipeline full. Exact same thing with growing a successful market center. A profitable market center is making sure that you're doing everything you can every single day to introduce people to the brokerage and help agents that are here grow their businesses.
Well, I love that. And I could not agree more. And everybody on here is listening. Oh, well, we totally stick to our time blocks of knowing what we need to be doing every day, right? Said no one ever. Or at least I would be out of a job, right? So no, I mean, realistically, in terms of coaching, one of our biggest, opportunities with most of our clients is sticking to the time blocks and really protecting them at all costs. What would be the 3 things you do on a consistent daily basis to keep that pipeline full and you say no to the rest? What are those 3 things?
Yeah, so I think number 1 is maintaining healthy relationships with my top 20% of my brokerages and my ALC. I do everything in my power to protect the time that I have booked for my ALC and for some of the top producing agents. We know I've learned throughout a 15 to 20 year career in recruiting people to different organizations that our best people a lot of times come from our best people. And so if we can create win-win situations with our best agents, not only introducing their friends, family, and network to Keller Williams to become an agent, but helping them grow their downline, right? Like one of the benefits to being the number 4 most profitable market center is also having probably, I think, the number 3 most robust market share or revenue share, right? Like profit sharing with our people. So you said top three things. So like maintaining space for that. I think a really great habit that any team leader can adopt, I stole from James Clear in Atomic Habits, and that's having a habit tracker every single day, right? Like a lot of times we need to be celebrating the behaviors, not just the successes, right? Like if we go through an entire day and whatever happened, we weren't able to book an appointment, or we only booked one appointment that day against a goal of 3 or whatever it is, if we still checked all the boxes on the habit tracker, we knew and we know that with that consistency of doing the things that we say we're going to do, like we're eventually going to get to where we want to go, right? So like I would just recommend, don't go home, don't leave the office until every box on your habit tracker is checked. If it happens at 4 and you've booked 3 appointments and you want a happy hour with an ALC member, go right ahead. But if you haven't done your stuff, then don't leave your office, right? And then I would say number 3 is probably a little bit of James Clear, but a little bit of just sales in general. Is I keep my sales pipeline on an Excel spreadsheet. I learned very early on from our operating partner and CEO, Mike Rapaski, my boss, that if we're looking at our pipeline every single day, like it's a bold law, what you focus on expands. You focus on your pipeline, you focus on pipeline growth, that inevitably will manifest itself. Like you got to do it, like whether it's a DM strategy to your Instagram followers, whether it's cold calls to your pond through infographics, like whatever it is, whatever your strategy is, like nothing's going to work if you don't do it on a consistent basis. So hope that
Yeah.
answers your.
Oh, it absolutely does. It's so many golden nuggets in that. No, I mean, those are the 3, like you said, and tracking the habits in particular is such a good reminder of, I always say consistency, not perfection, right? And it is very
Absolutely.
similar to that. It's like really focus on the behavior. And I always say with clients, especially, focus on the behavior, the results will come.
Absolutely, for sure. Because the results are just, the scoreboard, whatever it is you're using for a scoreboard, like those results are important, right? But like they're a lag measure. They tell us what happened yesterday. Like it's hard to affect lag measures. It's impossible to affect lag measures if you're not worrying about what we're doing today to get us to where we want to go. So.
Yeah, I love that. Such great advice. Thank you. Speaking of advice, what's a piece of advice that you've received in this role that you can absolutely not live without?
Yeah, I would say, I can't recall if this is John Maxwell or if it's Craig Groeschel, who's another one of my favorite podcasters, has been for many years. But it's, you can have comfort or you can have growth, but you cannot have both. So whatever it is you're trying to do in life, like I've always tried to tell my kids, anything worth doing's right isn't going to come easy, right? Like I think talent and skill will only get you so far, but consistency and behaviors and doing things to drive those results and having discipline in them is uncomfortable. Like a lot of times doing the things that we have to do is uncomfortable. And I just could not survive if the only thing that made me successful was comfortable things. Like it wouldn't be the same. So.
No, I love that. So I'm sure some people are like I did, right? Reading your bio, meeting you for the first time. I thought, okay, so number 4 in terms of most profitable Keller Williams brokerage out of thousands across the globe, right? And my first thought was, okay, how many agents does he have? And my second thought was, what's their average price point? And my third thought was, okay, well, what's the dynamic of the agents in which you do have, right? Like that third and a third and a third rule, right?
Yeah.
So let's clarify for those that are wondering, right?
Let's unpack that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's clarify for some brokerage owners that are listening right now. So agent count, we've got 406 specifically, correct?
Yeah, 408. I think when I wrote that to you, it was 2 less, but we recruited a couple in the fourth quarter of last month or the fourth week of last month. So 408.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. 408. Excellent. Tell me a little bit about your average price point out of curiosity there.
Yeah, it's right around 260 to 270, 260,000 to 270,000. So like we're not in some crazy vacation market where it's, $500,000 to $1 million. We're very much actually like a lot of the trends right now are saying the greater Cleveland area are still one of the most affordable places to live. So we're doing it in what our society we would call, affordable living. So
Yeah, I love that. And number three, we have your age. What makes up your agent population, right? So in Keller Williams world, we call it cap management. We are a capping institution, right? And so once an agent hits a certain level of production, they cap and they get to keep 100% of their revenue, their gross commission income. So typically for brokerage owners, we see a third of those producers, a third of what we call the mighty middle, and a third that just doesn't do any production. Tell me a little bit about your makeup.
yeah, we're right at about that.
Okay.
It's very consistent. We have everyone from my friend Nancy, who sells 2 or 3 houses a year. She's an octogenarian. She sells houses to just take her grandkids to Disney a couple times a year, up to the young team, one of the top most profitable real estate teams in the country, the Chase Group, just doing 200 to $300 million in real estate. But like those are all caps, right? So it's like the more agents we feel, the more agents we feel we can get on teams. Like I feel like we're team heavy, and because of that, that allows us to be profitable. And then we have a pretty good chunk of dual career agents too. Like I was looking at the 91 agents that we've recruited so far this year, more than half of them are dual career agents. So I think part of that strategy is trying to figure out a way to help our dual career agents, the masses that we're recruiting, like how do we help them build businesses when they're not able to come to a Tuesday morning sales meeting, when they're not able to get to productivity coaching, right? And like designing and implementing strategies around like making sure that everyone in our brokerage has an opportunity to be profitable. And that's where my heart is, because when I started in real estate, like I was a dual career agent and I knew how hard it was to get help when you got a 9 to 5, 5 days a week. So we went off on a little tangent there, but yeah.
No, I love it. I think that's so fantastic. And it's so interesting because I talk to so many brokerage owners, presidents, team leaders, right? CEOs and OPs. And it's really 50-50 from what I have experienced in all my conversations. It's either dual career, we're okay with it, we're going to embrace it, we're going to help these people succeed, or there's like, hey, there's another brokerage down the street, I think they're a better fit for you. So
Yeah.
I love all the perspectives. It's very helpful, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's now that you've been in it 8 months, right?
Yep.
Okay. What's one thing you know today you wish you knew the first week you started?
That's a really, really good question. I would probably say, like, I wish I would have been better prepared for what a big job this is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my OP, Mike, and good friend tried to warn me, right? And like I feel like I was headed towards a path where I was going to get burnt out, because we are our team, we're a high performance team that we have a lot of high expectations. We do hold ourselves to a very, very high standard. You got to also like have some me time in there, right? Like some time to regenerate, some time to like hang out, save some space. And it was really, really honestly, I attribute this to my MAPS coach, Melanie Kenneman, who was like, hey, like run hard, run fast, but remember, like also don't get burnt out, right? So like I'm the type of person that will wake up, hit the gym, pour myself a coffee, get on my laptop at 7 a.m. and I won't go to bed until the work's done. And I feel like in the team leader role, because it's so many different hats all the time, it's really easy to fall into that trap of like burning the candle at both ends and letting yourself get burnt out. So that's the piece of advice that like I heard that I wish I would have listened to,
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And so I'm dying to know, what do you do so you don't get burnt out? I mean, there's so many people listening to this that are like, oh my gosh, Chris, I do the same thing. I get up, I get right on, and I'm not off until 7, and my wife is ticked, and my husband's mad, and my kids are like, do you even exist anymore, right? And we don't want that, right? We want people who want this for the long haul and who happen to like it in the process. So what do you do to balance all that?
Yeah, so this is probably going to get a little tactical and a little granular, but I listened to an audiobook several years ago I think it was called the Miracle Morning. And I think like mastering my morning routine was a very big part of making sure that I hold space for myself and I kind of like protect my peace. That book talks about silence and meditation every single day, making sure that you're affirming yourself, making sure that you're meditating on your visualizations, exercising, making sure that you're consuming content, audio, whether it's audiobooks or regular books or whatever it is you read, and then journaling. I am a typical dude. I like to hold my emotions in, bottle them up, and then scream them into a pillow, right? And so I think that like when I journal about the struggles that I have, I communicate them with my wife and we work through things together. Like I have a lot of really, really good friends and partners and family surrounding me. Like I've been very intentional who I hold close to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that has really helped me manage the workload, right? Like, and my wife is always very transparent with me about like when I'm when I'm working a little bit too hard, right? Like, hey, like it's time for a date night. Let's go watch the Downton Abbey finale together. Like, let's take some time to just hang out and get, and my OP and my team are so good at like backing each other up. Intentionally, like my morning routine has a lot to do with it and just making sure that I'm holding space for my family.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so fantastic. And a good reminder, even for myself. I've been working on getting back to my mornings, and this is just it's what I needed to hear today. So if nothing else, you've influenced one.
There you go.
I love it. Um, Tell me what's one of the biggest challenges. Actually, before we dive into that, you mentioned, your OP and your team and everybody has each other's backs. And I think there's so many of us, especially when we're in the real estate, especially leadership role, whether even you're a mega agent, you have a team, you're like a team leader with a Keller Williams Market Center, you've got 408 now agents under you. What does your executive leadership team look like? I think that's a common question I hear kind of across the board. And being so profitable, I think there's probably a lot of people listening like, oh, he probably has so much leverage. Out of curiosity, what does that leadership team look like right now for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have two offices, one on the west side of Cleveland, the one that I run, and then east side of Cleveland, my good friend and colleague Kate Johnson runs that. So there are two team leaders. A brokerage this size, a job this big, like we felt it better to split the position into two and kind of roll with that. And the offices are about 30 to 40 minutes apart. So that helps us like leverage each other and use each other when we can. And then we have our operating partner and our broker. Obviously, they both have offices in both locations. They split their time. So they help so much. Like I'm so blessed to have such a great operating partner and broker. And then we have a productivity coach in each location. So we have a west side productivity coach, east side productivity coach. We have an MCA, Market Center Administrator. She has an assistant MCA that helps her. We have a director of agent experiences and services, director of agent services and experiences. Sorry, I got that backwards. And then we have two front desk attendants at each location, one of which is also our director of onboarding.
Okay.
So she takes care of like working with both team leaders and making sure that all agents get onboarded efficiently, smoothly, and have a great experience through her launch program. And then we also recently, within the last, I want to say 12, 13 months, added a director of marketing as well, a brilliant young woman named Tori, who helps agents with leverage with, doing the social media things that agents don't like to do. So giving them another handle on that. So
I love that. So what I hear is not too many, just enough.
Yeah, it's actually pretty lean for our brokerage our size.
Yeah.
I'm probably quoting Jocko Willink when I say this, but like one of the chapters in his favorite book that I read is Cover and Move. It's like we're all willing. Like I'm a team leader, but if I need to wear a productivity coach hat to cover for group coaching, or if my PC needs to work with an agent on something that's like out of their wheelhouse, we just work so well together. That's been a true blessing in this position, is knowing that like I can call on any of these people at any time and get the help that I need. So
yeah, I love that. So fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I get that question a lot. And it's not a listen, it's not a one size fits all. And I think a lot of team leaders and brokerage owners and mega agents want it to be. And yet it looks different based
Yeah.
on market, based on leverage, based on the who, etc. Right.
Yep.
Back to the original question I was going to ask, what is the biggest challenge you've had in this role and how ultimately have you overcome it?
There are, there are, so like looking back on probably my first like 60 to 90 days, I was limited by how much I could help agents because I hadn't learned the models and systems yet. Like I think my biggest challenge was learning all four Keller Williams models and being able to not only know them, but effectively work through models with the agents, right? Like it took me a good like 4 or 5 months before I could sit down with an agent, figure out what their pain points were. And then like for a while, it was just like, hey, like you don't even know what your goals are, economic model, boom. You don't know how to hit these goals. All right, boom, we're going to go to the lead generation model. We're going to work on building your pipeline. Okay, now that they've built your pipeline, like what do we do with them? Okay, so that's still like part two of the lead gen model, right? Like my biggest challenge has been getting up to speed as quickly as possible with the models and systems so that I can leverage those to help agents do their, do their job better and more efficiently. So
Interesting.
that I guess like that not only was that a challenge of mine, but that would be another piece of advice that I would give to the any new TLs or any TLs coming into the role. Like I would practice doing the GPS and the 411 1,000 times. Practice on your friends, practice on your family, like the same way you would practice a buyer's consultation or a listing presentation, right? Like time on task over time, another bold thing is just get really good by doing it all the time. I wish I would have taken the time my first 30, 60 to like just practice the GPS and the 411 because like now I can do those things in my sleep. And I'm so excited. Tomorrow, actually Wednesday and Thursday of this week, I'm going to be going to career visioning to learn
Nice.
the KPA. So like the KPA is like the next rung on my ladder. So I'll be mastering the KPA and trying to figure out how to leverage that to help agents too. So my coach tells me I'm going to be dangerous once I learn the KPA. So.
Yeah, it's so true. KP is such an incredible tool. So true. And it's really one of those things where we're blessed to be in line with a brokerage, right? That the KPA, meaning the Keller Williams personality assessment, similar to like, a Myers-Briggs meets the DISC meets, right? All these cultural index and
Yep.
really just puts it right in front of us in terms of the candidates in which we're talking to. And if they're going to be a good fit for the role. And I always say less to do for me and more for them because happy people stay longer, they do their jobs better, and they're happier. And ultimately, they're able to take on more things because they're passionate. And
Yeah.
hiring the wrong person who isn't not only costs us a lot of money, time, energy, and resources as owners, right? It's just not as fun. It makes our lives a little bit more difficult when
Right.
people around us are not loving what they're doing. And so I'm in the business of making people happy, not upset. So I love the KPA. You're going to love career visioning. It is awesome. So
I'm
good.
excited.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, as we kind of wrap up here, one of the questions that come up a lot of people who inquire is, hey, can you talk about systems with mega agents or team leaders, brokerage owners, etc.? What is the biggest system driver that you can attribute to your recruiting and growth results within your brokerage?
Yeah, so I would say two. So obviously, like we have a really, really great system for working with career schools, right?
Mhm.
Like professional licensing schools. We have Hondros Career. We've got K-Score now through Kaplan University. We have Cuyahoga Community College, who has a real estate school, right? So we do a very good job through Command MC, and then also a system called Broker Kit that allows us to, much like a real estate database, right? It's our CRM for real estate students, agent referrals, people that we come in contact with, our top 20 in our ALC co-broker list that they're trying to recruit. Like it's a great way for us to put something there that's on autopilot so that whether they were a Hondros career licensing student 4 years ago or whether they're like a brand new ALC recruit unlicensed, like they're getting content from us every single month, right? So like just like a 36 touch nurture campaign, we have that in place for all of our people that we're trying to recruit. The second one is just it's not like an automated thing or anything, but we use a couple different databases for pond entry, right? So like I have a pond right now, West Side Cleveland agents between 0 production and 8 million, and there's like 740 of them that are in between half cappers to cappers, gets a certain outreach, cappers to 5 million gets a certain outreach, and then 5 million plus the mega agents. Like they all get communicated with a little bit differently. And the system for me is like once I have them there, I start to nurture them every single week with a newsletter, right? And it's many things. So the weekly newsletter, Burnsy's Westside Weekly Playbook, and then it's a DM strategy on Instagram and Facebook, and then it's a cold call a couple times, right? And then it's voice memos, and then it's text messages, and it's just outreach after outreach after outreach. And we're kind of just like wearing these people down, right? To the point where it's like, fine, I'll come to your stupid business planning clinic. Just stop calling me, right? So
I love that. So what I heard is automation and leveraging automation.
Yep.
I mean, if anybody here is still with us listening, they know that is what I preach. Automation. We cannot be workhorses. We are one person, the one-to-one versus one-to-many. So automation is key. Number 2, you're strategic in your lead generation is what I hear.
Yeah. Very strategic. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, and leveraging AI to figure out like what, and I can give you an example of how I leverage AI for that system as well. But, we have agents all the time that just like out of nowhere, like maybe they decided to get their real estate license during COVID and it got too busy. So they stopped and then they picked it back up. And now all of a sudden they're like in their final phases of licensing. And they reach out to us because they've been getting our silly emails once a month for the last 4 years, right? And it's like, I'll get an email or a call from somebody. Hey, I've been getting your emails. I'm thinking about getting sponsored and taking my test finally after 3 years. And I'm like, great to hear from you finally,
Yeah.
But then I took on my pipeline, I've got my capper pipeline that I'm recruiting from other brokerages, and then I've got my licensed pipeline. And then, I spent probably an hour and a half with ChatGPT and Perplexity about a week and a half ago, and I just sat down and I said, hey, like pretend that you're a recruiter at the top real estate brokerage in Northeast Ohio. I want you to pretend like you have 12 agents on your pipeline that produce anywhere between 4 million and 20 million a year. You're trying to recruit these people specifically to business planning clinic that is on October 14th. Help me put together an outreach strategy, systematic every week, where we're reaching out 2 to 3 times a week, utilizing voice memos, a DM strategy, an email strategy, a phone call, and like whatever else, right? And holy cow, like the outreach strategy that ChatGPT helped me with. Of course, like it's not a plug and play. Like it needs some finessing, right? Like you're not going to say things exactly the way ChatGPT tells you to. But if we're not using of some version of AI as a thought partner to put together strategies, no matter what we're trying to do these days, whether it's sell 10 million in real estate or recruit a $10 million agent, like we got to get on the bandwagon,
Couldn't agree more. And I love what you just said there as utilizing AI as a thought partner.
Yep.
I think so often, so many brokerage owners are telling their agents, be careful, they're going to replace us. You don't want them to replace you. It's not about replacing at all. People are always going to want human connection and relationships. And I think the way you just put it hit home with me, which is it really is a thought partner.
Yeah. Yeah, and as a Keller Williams agent, not a lot of people know this, so maybe this is a little life hack for our Keller Williams agents out there. If you, as a Keller Williams agent, we get a free subscription to Gemini Pro, which is like Google's AI partner. And so like a lot of times I'll be driving 30 minutes to an appointment or 15 minutes to an appointment. I'll pull up my Gemini app and put it on the speaker in my car and just give it prompts. And pretend you're a $10 million agent and you do not want to be recruited from your amazing EXP brokerage. And I'm a Keller Williams team leader and I'm doing my best to try to get an appointment with you, just a coffee, right? Like, let's go back and forth and have some dialogue around what you need to hear to spark curiosity in your mind to say yes to a coffee date with me.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Now that is a tip to take home to the bank. I love it. That is so awesome. And I'm sure there was a lot of ahas on this call, and that being one of them. Yes, thank you for reminding me, even though I utilize it. Any KW agent who's listening, yeah, it's a free Gemini Pro membership with Google as a KW agent. So in addition to now Canva. So there you go. There you have it.
Absolutely. Yep.
I love it. Awesome. Chris, thank you so much. I would love for you to leave us with just one piece of advice that you would give to other mega agents, brokerage owners, presidents, team leaders, OPs that are still with us today.
I would, if I had to pick one thing, I would say, gosh, is this John Maxwell? This might be John Maxwell. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at the end of the day, whether you're talking to a real estate prospect, whether you're talking to another team member on your team, whether you're talking to an agent helping them grow their business, like, we cannot expect them to care about anything we say until they know how much we care about them as a person and the growth of their business. So that would be my one piece of advice is, like, don't talk about the stuff until you talk about the heart that's behind it. So
I love that, Chris.
there you go.
So good. So great. If people want more of you, where can they find you? Instagram, social media, email, whatever it is you'd like to share today.
Yeah, I would say, like, if it's Instagram, just look up Burnsy. My name is Chris Burns, but my nickname ever since middle school baseball is Burnsy. So if you go on LinkedIn, it's Chris Burns. If you go on Facebook, it's Chris Burns. If you go on any of my socials, it's going to be Burnsy, all that stuff. Also my cell is 440-822-6695. I'm cool if you call me, text me, whatever. Like, I have a heart for developing people, whether it's agents, clients, or other team leaders across the country. So I'm game for whatever.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do, Chris. It was such a pleasure and an honor. And I'm just grateful that I got the chance to connect with you today.
Likewise. Pleasure was mine, Alexis. Thanks a lot.